Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you?
Terrific. How are you?
Oh, I'm better now that I just saw you have a Mean Gene Okerlund shirt on.
My boy.
Good old
Mean Eugene.
Mean Eugene. Adam, the NBA Finals are going on, bud. This is going to be a fun little podcast to go over the NBA Finals, what's going on. It is currently 3-2 in favor of the Golden State Warriors.
It is, indeed.
And we'll get into that a little bit later. It's also game 6 is
tomorrow night.
So when everybody's listening to this, game 6 may already be over, may not. But we're going to talk about what's happened up to this point here a little bit later. But first off, let's get started with how we've been getting started here lately. You've brought the Reese's this week. What is the Reese's of the day? This came from Kroger's too.
It did not. I
used the Kroger bag.
I bought this, from another store and used the Kroger bag.
I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
We've tasted the Reese's with potato chips. Is that correct?
We have. We've had the Reese's with potato chips.
We're now going to do the Reese's Big Cup with pretzels.
I'm so happy you got the Big Cup with pretzels. This is what I would have gotten next. All right, so good. I'm going to start off by saying you already know how I feel about the crunchiness inside of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Something's a little weird about it.
Mm-hmm. Not a fan. It's okay.
I'm not sure what I ranked the potato chips, but I think this will be good. I'll tell you what, while we do this, I got to say, we didn't do a podcast last week. And the reason for that is because we went to go watch Chris Rock live at the Taft Theater. Can I just tell you the first thing I'd like to say about that?
Tell me what you thought about that night. What was the first thing that you
The first thing I remember about that night is that my knees, I needed to stretch my legs more than anything in the world. My knees were against the seat in front of me and I could not move. That's what I remember about it. There's a lot of crunch to that Reese's over there.
As I'm crunching the heck out of this thing into this microphone.
I love it.
Driving everybody crazy. I'm going to 100% agree with you. The last 5 minutes of the show, was when it kicked in for me.
Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't before that because I almost felt claustrophobic.
Yeah, I started to feel that way. There was one point, I don't know if you noticed, but one point where I almost half stood up just to try to get a quick stretch in because it was killing me.
Mm-hmm.
Killing me.
When I get tickets to those shows, I try to get aisle seats as much as I can.
Yeah.
We were 2 seats over from the aisle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't know the people on either side, so we couldn't really stretch our legs into other people's space. You could have probably stretched at least one leg or 2 legs, although we really couldn't even.
You had
do that
nowhere to go.
I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
But so yes, that was the worst part about it. Beautiful. The Taft Theater in Cincinnati is beautiful. It's a beautiful place. I love going to shows there. The seats are the leg room is too small.
Yeah. The first row right in front of us, we were in the second row. It was an opening.
That would have been perfect.
That would have been nice. I could have got a lot of stretch, but I've got to tell you that is an awesome place to watch a comedian because there's not a bad seat in the house there, man. Mm-hmm. And that show, I loved it. I gave it a 4.6. They took my phone, or else we'd let you guys hear a little bit of it. But first time I've ever been involved with the phone being taken.
Yeah, I've done that a few times, but I don't think ever here. I don't think ever in Cincinnati. So, but yes, very cool experience. Got to see Chris Rock, bucket list kind of thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, and the guy that opened for him, Rick Ingram, was pretty funny too. I'm not always a big crowd work guy, but he mostly did crowd work, and he was pretty funny. He unfortunately his set was cut short because Bozo yelled out that he stinks or something like that.
Yeah, said you suck or something like that, and he didn't because that place was cracking up at him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He did a really good job. And it was some dirty stuff, buddy. I'm gonna tell you what, he was making some people uncomfortable.
Yep. Don't go if you're a kid or you just don't have that kind of relationship with a parent. Don't go to shows like that with your parents because somebody's going to embarrass you.
He picked out the youngest kid he could find and had a blast with it. And it was pretty funny.
So yes, you gave it a 4.6. What did I give it? We could have talked about this on the way
I think
home.
you were like a 3.9 or something.
Oh, was I? Yeah.
What are you thinking differently now?
I think it was at least a 4, at least.
Maybe you said 4.2. I was cracking up, man. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good show. He didn't address the Will Smith stuff much. He mentioned it kind of, but
right at the beginning, just like we kind of talked about how it would go. We thought it would be right at the beginning, quick, made a little joke. He was like, I'm fine. I got no head trauma. I can hear everything fine and all that stuff. And then it was over.
Talked a lot about his daughters. Did a lot of funny stuff with his family. Dating at whatever he is, almost 50 or something like that. And talked a lot about a lot of different things. I mean, he covered a lot of different stuff. As did the guy that we're going to talk about later, Yannis Pappas. But yeah, the Chris Rock show was very cool. I loved it. First comedy show we've been to together, not the last one. So anyway, I don't know. Is there anything else? What else was there? So the show, we got there, 10 minutes before the thing started or something like that. Probably. Long line around the side of the building. Line moved pretty quick. And then we got in and we're like, oh man, okay, the show's going to start as we're getting to our seats or something like that. No, they wait for everybody to get in there.
They make sure they fill it up before the comedians start, which is good for the good for those guys, right? Like they want to they want to play, they want to do their act in front of a full house. And I think there's a certain percentage, I believe the lady said, has to have their ticket scanned before they'll start. So they probably get to that 75% mark. And then if you're after that, you'll come in after that.
Yep. So it was fine. I mean, it started probably a half hour late or something like that. We were actually sitting there for quite a while, but it was worth the wait. It was, we hit up Skyline real quick before, and that always enhances any event you do, whether you go before or after. So great night.
It was awesome. And I appreciate the tickets, man. It was a good time and we had an absolute blast. What did you think about the Reese's with the pretzels, the big cup with the pretzel?
You know what? I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the potato chip.
I didn't like either of them.
Yeah, this is I just felt I couldn't really taste pretzel. I just tasted crunch.
Hard. It was crunch. Just a crunch. You could have put Rice Krispies in it, and I would have, maybe not Rice Krispies, but anything crunchy.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't feel like the potato chips were as crunchy. There was like I guess potato chips are thinner anyway, but
yeah.
I just didn't feel the crunch as much with the potato chips as I did with the pretzel. That was a little bit. It was a little bit harder. I feel like a harder crunch. Not necessarily a bad thing, but didn't really do a whole lot for the taste.
Right.
It didn't kill it. It didn't enhance it. It was just an extra crunch. For that reason, I say, give me the regular big cup over the big cup with pretzel.
Sure. Obviously.
What do we go to again? 10 on these?
On these, I think we go to 10.
I'm going, I'm going to go 7.8.
Oh,
my lowest score yet.
I was going to go 8, but now I feel like I need to go lower. I just don't like it. I'm just going to go with an 8. I mean, it's still a Reese's, so it's still delicious.
When you say I don't like it.
Yeah. I just wouldn't choose this over the other 37 different types of new Reese's that are out there.
All right.
Have we done the Reese's Big Cup with the Reese's Pieces in it? We did the outrageous bar.
We did. I don't think we've done the Reese's Pieces in.
We haven't done the Big Cup with the Reese's in it. We haven't done the Nutrageous one with the nuts in the candy bar. There's another one out there that I think we haven't done yet. There's at least 3. I think there's at least 3 more out there we haven't done.
Yeah, you've got the peanut butter, the white chocolate.
Oh, we also got the white chocolate. Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
I think we still have
We got
quite a few.
We got quite a few. We got a couple months worth.
Yeah.
We got a couple months worth of Reese's.
Yeah. And then maybe once we're done with that, maybe we just start over from the beginning.
There you go. And I've not told you, but in 2 weeks, I'll be out for 2. I'm going to be on vacation for 2 Wednesdays. So we'll have to do one of them over the old Zoom. I don't know if I can go 2 full weeks without doing the podcast, man.
Up to you.
It's too much fun. No, I think we'll be back, but it might just be we'll both be on either side of the Zoom call instead of both of us sitting in front of it.
Yeah. That's all right. Throw it back.
To it. Yeah. Get it to the old school. We'll get a little pandemic-ish.
Yeah, sure. By the way, is it coming back? Because like everybody's out at work.
Isn't that crazy? My work,
some of my family has it.
Do they? In Louisville, our Louisville office, there was like 4 people there. Everybody else had it.
Yeah.
Nobody had severe symptoms. Everything's been pretty mild. Yeah. It's, aches and pains has been the biggest thing that I hear there. So here comes another wave, but the waves seem to be getting a little less severe. There you go. That's a beautiful word.
Yeah, depends on how it's used, I guess.
Yeah, that is very
severe
true.
Thunderstorm. I don't know.
We just had one of those the other day. I was out of power for 24 hours, bro. 24 hours from 5 o'clock Monday till almost 6:30 on Tuesday.
And every day this week here in Cincinnati, where we are, 95. It has been 95 degrees.
Luckily, my basement's never got hotter than like 74 degrees. So
that's nice.
Chilled down here. It was darker and I'll get out, but it was fun. The kids didn't have their electronics for a full day. They were really, really good, which was surprising. They're really good because they get in front of those electronics, man. And my kids become mean and nasty. I take them away from them. All of a sudden they're good kids again.
Really says something.
It just eats away at their brains.
I guess so. When we were kids, when people started playing video games, everybody was like, kids are rotting their brains with these video games.
It's no joke, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Oh man. But we would play video games for an hour and then go outside for 7 hours,
That's the thing. Like, I think about that. Like, I remember when we first got Nintendo. And
there would be nights maybe that we would spend a lot of time playing.
Everybody came to my house and we played Super Mario Brothers. Everybody got a chance on the street. Everybody played a little bit. And I just, I vividly remember somebody going, all right, let's go back out. And like, we just stopped playing and went back out. That's because that's what we did. We did that. We played whatever outside all the time.
Yep.
It's totally different now, dude. Totally different. There are hardly any kids out running around constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. Go back outside and hit wiffle balls at the greenhouse.
Man, we remember throwing rocks at the greenhouse. Did you ever get yelled at with me when we threw rocks at the greenhouse?
I don't know that I ever.
We used to throw rocks at the greenhouse, and then she'd get so mad and come out and scream at us because we put a hole in her greenhouse or something. I don't know.
Oh, that was somebody's yard.
Yeah. Well, she lived in the front. She had a house in the front, and then her back was all of the giant greenhouses and whatever that floral place was that she owned. But yeah.
Okay.
So her front yard was her house. And then back behind her was the business.
I'll be honest, I can't even remember a house being there. It was just it felt like such a big open space with greenhouses in it.
So it's on Greenwell is where the house is. Pretty far up on Greenwell from Duber. But yeah, it was the little orange brick house, little yellow orangey brick house. And then it had that huge area in between, which I always wanted to go out there and play football or do something back there. But I just always thought we were going to get yelled at.
Yeah. It was your version of Mrs. Stamey, I guess.
Yep. I mean, we had a gate back there, so you could hit it back there and you just go get the ball. But yeah, still something just didn't feel like we were ever welcome.
Yeah,
probably because we threw rocks at the greenhouse.
Yeah, maybe if you didn't throw rocks, it might have been a little.
Do you remember the really old barn that they didn't use anymore? Where all the bats lived, and the bats would come out at night. Do you remember taking tennis balls in my backyard?
Yes.
And throwing them in the air, and then you dive on the ground lay flat on the ground, and as the tennis ball came back down to the earth, the bats would chase it and be like 3 inches above you and then go back up in the air. Oh my God, it was the freakiest thing in the world. We used to love doing that.
I remember doing that. I don't remember the bats. I feel like if the bats got close enough to me, I would stop doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not playing with that. But I do remember bats being back there and throwing the ball up.
They chase the ball. They'd scoop at. They try to chase after it all the
Throw
time.
their sonar out or whatever.
And they'd fly down after it, and everybody'd hit the deck. Oh man, it was so much fun.
You would think, because bats are, maybe that's how good that sonar is they're blind, but they can still chase a moving object.
That's how it is. It's no joke. That's how good their whatever that sense is that bats have. It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We had some fun on the old Duber Stadium days.
Duber Stadium.
Yep. Good old days, man. Anyway, speaking of good old days.
Shout out Bandit.
Bandit, man. Yeah, he went to go visit somebody on a farm somewhere. That dog, do you remember if that were you ever at my house? Sure, he's still alive. Were you ever at my house when Bandit got out? He used to get out all the time.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'd go in the house because nobody was ever home. Like I was just always home by myself. Always. Like I don't remember a time from like second grade on where I just wasn't at home all summer long. Like nobody else was home. It was just me. My sister was at a babysitter's house, but I was at home. I remember I'd go in and I'd get lunch meat, and he'd go down on Greenwell and run up, and I would just go down there and I just start putting lunch meat on the ground, and then he'd slowly come back and he'd eat a piece and then come back and eat a piece, come back, eat a piece. And I finally get him in the backyard. And that's how we used to get him back. He was gone for a couple of days once. Somebody like 2 blocks away had him. We put some posters up.
Huh.
How
much was the reward?
Oh, nothing. No, it was the wits, man. We didn't have nothing to give you. I'll give you.
We got some lunch meat for you.
I got an old baseball bat you can have or something. But
we got a baseball bat and a pound of lunch meat.
We had that dog we used to have dead birds in the backyard all the time. A bird would land on the fence, and he would be next to the fence and not move. And the second that bird flew away, he would jump and snatch that thing out of midair and then just leave it on the ground. He didn't care. He just wanted to grab it.
Nice.
Dog was unbelievable.
That's athletic, man.
Dog was crazy.
I think I remember the day you got it. I think I was at your house.
You might have been.
Maybe the day or the day after or something. I remember it being this big.
It was so small. Yeah.
And it being like running around. And I was terrified of dogs,
eyes,
even that small. But I was like, that was like one of the first times in my life I wasn't like running away and trying to get away from a dog.
Yeah.
Because it was this big.
It was so small.
Like running around like a bat or something.
Yep.
For some reason I remember that.
That little tiny dog. I don't remember much about that, but I definitely remember old Bandit. All right. Speaking of Bandit,
great for everybody else.
Yes. Hey, you know what? Everybody's getting a little sneak peek into the lives of the Nosebleed Sports Podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody had a street. Everybody that's our age lived at a time where you just played outside in the street, right? You either went down the street and played somewhere, or you had somewhere, right? Like we had the basketball court in my backyard, so that's where everybody played basketball. You had baseball right in front of the house. There was a wire that was just to the left of my house, so that was the home run wire. And then you had football down a little further that would go towards the street. We had played street hockey back in there. We used to play a game where everybody rode their bike in a circle, and then you took a frisbee and you had to hit people. And if you hit somebody, then they were it, and they had to throw the frisbee. And if you almost hit somebody in the head, oh, you can't go head hunting. Like I'm throwing a frisbee, and I'm 7 years old. Man. I don't know where this thing's gonna go. Yeah,
I'm 40 and I don't know.
And I was so little. Everyone was older than me on that street. Everyone was older than me. I still say that's one of the reasons I love playing down low and trying to be a big, because everybody was always bigger than me playing basketball.
Yeah.
I remember sitting up, we get off school, and they were all in Delhi Junior High, and I was like in 4th grade, 3rd grade. And I just sit on my deck looking down at them. And they were like, oh God, we got to ask this little kid to play. It's his backyard. We should probably ask him. And I just sit up there until somebody will go, you want to play? and I'm sure they hated every second of it.
I had the exact same thing. The Briggs and
That's
Scott
right.
Seymour across
Yeah,
the street.
that's right. They come over and play ball at your house, and it's like
9 or 10 years older than me.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm.
It's a good time.
Anyway,
Good time.
so the NBA Finals is going on right now, and the Golden State Warriors. So Steph Curry struggled in this game. This is the first. They had a stat up that was insane, like 200 and some games with consecutive games with a three, like 38 consecutive, 130 maybe consecutive playoff games. I can't remember. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of consecutive games with, I think it was 38 consecutive playoff games with 2 threes made, and he did not hit a three in the game, and they still came out and spanked that butt.
They did. I mean, the Celtics cut the lead down quite a few times.
That third quarter, the Celtics went off in the third quarter because they were down at halftime big.
And so far in the series, the third quarter belonged to the Warriors.
Oh,
the
my
Warriors
God,
had huge third quarters in the first 4 games. Celtics flipped the script in game 5, and then the Warriors took care of business, and it was Andrew Wiggins was number 1. That was his best game maybe of his life in that game. And on both ends, by the way, because Jason Tatum's struggling a little bit too, and Wiggins is mostly guarding him. Draymond played a little better finally. And then, although he still fouled out with 3 minutes to go in the game, but he
was effective offensively, and he has not been He has done nothing on the offensive side this entire.
Right. Yeah. And he actually, I think it was the Tatum, Brown, and Marcus Smart are all shooting like, I forget what it is, like 25% from the field and 13% from 3 when Draymond is guarding them in the series. So he's still having an impact on the game. He might give you 2 points and 8 rebounds and 6 assists or something like that, and that doesn't look like a lot, but he's still having an impact on the game, and especially the last game, because he wasn't quite as effective on that end in the first couple games. So
game 6, he was not game 6. I'm sorry, game 4. I mean, he did that. He had 2 points or whatever, and he only had like 3 rebounds. But defensively, it didn't seem like he wasn't, you know what? That's probably because he wasn't on the floor that much, because he was constantly in foul trouble. Yeah. He's fouled out of, was it 4 of the 5 games, I think?
Yeah,
3 or 4 of the 5 games.
At least 3, yeah.
I mean, that's rough.
That's not a good thing. Be crazy on defense and talk a ton, and I'm still always going to be you get into the extra stuff with guys all the time. He's been doing that way more in this series.
Last night
never fun. I'm never good with that. Right. But it's his thing. Like that's what he motivates himself partially with that stuff and
gets other teams in their own head when he does that stuff.
Yeah. And sometimes it backfires on him, like we talked about, but that's kind of what he needs, I guess, to get going. He put, like you said, he dialed that back a little bit and played a little bit better in game 5. So moving forward, they go back to Boston for game 6. Warriors up 3-2. Do you think the Warriors close it out in Boston, or do you think they go back to?
No, I think it goes back. This Boston team. This is the first time in the playoffs that the Celtics did not win after a loss. They have won after every single loss. They've came out and won. They have not lost back-to-back games in the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, I don't believe in this playoffs they've lost back-to-back games. Sounds right. I don't see it happening. I don't see them losing 3 straight. They're too good to lose 3 straight. And in Boston, you can see it's different. It's different. I mean, it's the same in Golden State. It's different there. Like, these are 2 powerhouse teams, not powerhouse teams. These are 2 powerhouse fan bases. Mm-hmm. The Golden State lately and Boston forever. Yep. It's when you get in there and it's the playoffs, the fans are going to let you know what's going on. Steve Kerr made it very clear last time. The fans aren't pleasant in Boston.
They were doing the blank you Draymond chant, and people were, the Warriors were complaining about it, and Warriors fans were complaining about it and saying, be classy. And then Boston fans are like, oh, you're a whiny baby and you're from San Francisco and you're fancy and all that.
Yeah. You know what? If I was a Boston fan, I'd be like, seriously, you're getting upset with us. You have Draymond Green on your team and you're upset with this chant. Draymond Green screams at the top of his lungs every curse word in the world 50 times a game, but it's not a chant. What did you think about this? Draymond Green gets called for his, I believe it was his sixth and final foul. And immediately starts screaming at Steve Kerr to challenge the call. I'm talking screaming, and Steve Kerr walks out like I think it was a TV timeout or something like that, and he's walking out on the floor, and he shook his head and he's clapping and looking at the rest of his team, telling him to come over. And Draymond Green is going bananas. I'm talking crazy at Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr's trying to ignore him, and then finally gives him the little wiggle finger to say challenge it, and it's upheld. So he gets his sixth foul, still fouls out,
and it was a timeout.
I feel like I've seen this so many times with Draymond Green, where Steve Kerr, he almost just allows him to be this.
100%. 100%.
It doesn't seem like the way Steve Kerr would really feel like I don't feel like that's really who he is.
He may not. Yeah, Steve Kerr is not like that. And he may not have wanted to challenge that because he probably knew it wasn't the right challenge. And we were watching before they challenged it. We were watching the replay and it was like, that's not going to be enough to.
No,
it may not.
He still touched him with it. He still got him with the body, even though more of that foul was probably on Steph, but he still got him with the body. And if you touched him, they can't overturn it. Like they physically cannot overturn it if you touch them.
Yeah. It wasn't going to be overturned. And yeah, I mean, but it's about the trust from your players. It's about it's I think it's about that for Steve Kerr. I think he's going to let Draymond be Draymond, even though sometimes it hurts them.
But it's only Draymond, right? Like Andrew Wiggins goes off and starts screaming at Steve Kerr. That ain't going down, right?
Probably not, because that'd be out of character. But yeah, I think I think he always has let Draymond do that. I think he's always let him kind of be him because he knows he's going to get the best Draymond. And then, like we said, sometimes it's going to backfire. Sometimes it's going to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe then he steps up and says, look, I know you use all this stuff as motivation. When you lose your mind, sometimes you play better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to
get worse.
You need to rein it in a little bit. But he's going to let him go as long as he can. But it was his last foul, so he was off the floor, so he really didn't have to worry about him anymore.
That's
anyway.
True.
So I maybe not a lot of guys can just scream out of it. Now, to your point, a lot of guys do that now. Like you see a lot of guys, because nobody ever fouls in the NBA, right? Nobody ever fouls.
I'm going to tell you what, for as soft as people say about the NBA, watch this finals, buddy. I'm talking they're throwing people around.
Oh yeah.
It's insane the stuff that they'll let get away with. And then all of a sudden they'll call a foul on something and you're like, doesn't make any sense. Like he's got his hands all the way around this guy and they don't call anything. And then there's like this phantom move and somebody falls and then a foul's called. Like, what is going on?
That's why I don't like when they let games get physical. A lot of people love that stuff. I get the gritty part of it. I get the fun of the physicality and that kind of thing. And you're going to let them figure out who is the tougher, better team that way. I also think it takes away a little bit from the game because for one thing, just like that, how do you call a consistent game and let them go and let them play that much?
There was a foul called on Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart got into a little bit of a moment about a 2-minute span the other night where he got a couple fouls and he got a little flailing. He was throwing his arm around, but Jordan Poole, is it Jordan? Jordan Poole? What's Poole? Yeah. Jordan Poole was not touched. Clearly not touched, and he throws his head back. Yeah. And the play before that, Poole was on top of Marcus Smart, and Marcus Smart was trying to push him off of him and got called for a foul. And I'm like, I don't understand how that can be a foul. And then Marcus Smart turns around and doesn't even touch him. And he gets called for a second foul just like that. Those are the things that boggle my mind. I understand how tough it is to be a referee, especially at that level with that kind of athleticism and on this kind of stage. But those are the things that I don't like. That get me. Like, come on, we've got to figure out a way to get this better under control.
And they've got two. I'm trying to think. Tony Brothers and Mark Davis are two of the officials. I'm trying to think of the third guy, but I mean, those guys do all of the biggest games. Apparently because they're three of the best. So they're trying to put their best guys out there. They're probably good officials, but the game is especially the NBA game is so hard to officiate. And when you're trying to let as much stuff go as you can to let them play so you can get a flow and all that kind of thing, it's too hard to officiate that way, I think. Yeah. I think you got to, whatever a foul is, call a foul. And a player, I always think, call the game, start it off, call the game a little tight, and make the players adjust.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a good game. You just adjust to how the game is being called. If it's being called tight, then be more disciplined. Do a better job of playing without fouling.
Yeah.
I think that's the best, most pure form of the game. I feel like I hardly ever see it, but I think that's the way it should be. People might disagree, but anyway,
I love it.
I did want to say,
I'm with you.
Good. I did want to point out that, so we're entering game 6 now. Warriors are up 3-2. Before this series started, you picked Warriors in 7. I picked Warriors in 6.
So this is it. We find out right now who's winning.
That's right.
Man, and you're going to have to dress up like a woman after this and stand in front of the camera the entire time. Speaking of that, I'm really excited to talk about this Yannis Pappas because he's got, I don't know how you felt about some of it, but then the beginning when he got into that kind of stuff, I was laughing pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into that
loves
later.
Talking about that stuff. Okay, we've got to get into the unwritten rules of sports.
Okay, that's
the Mount Rushmore of the unwritten rules of sports, because Chris, I think some of our most passionate discussions or debates on this podcast have been about this kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So
I want to. So I got a feeling that we're going to be pretty similar on this.
I don't know.
I started looking at this. There's a lot of stuff on here that I was like, oh, you know what? Those, yeah, that's true. That's yeah, okay, yeah. And then there's some that I don't even know. I was looking some of these up and I was like, I didn't know that was something that everybody does.
Yeah, there were a couple like that for me too. There were a few. So I was interested in. I wrote down 4 that are going to be Mount Rushmore, but I was almost more interested in the ones that I disagree with or I dislike.
Okay.
Or I wanted to at least ask your opinion on, because I think they're all baseball, the ones I wrote down.
Okay.
So, but let's start with what we have on our Mount Rushmore. Would you like to go first? I want you to go first. I want to hear what you got and I want to cross-reference. Okay. Specifically in baseball, this could probably go for just about any sport, and then you adjust.
Did we do specifically baseball?
No.
Okay, good.
No, I'm sorry, and I meant this first one is specifically basketball.
Okay.
And we said any sport. So when the game's in hand, you're up 3 or 4 possessions, shot clock's off. You dribble the ball out. You don't go try to score again, right? Mm-hmm. There are kind of nuances to some of these things, and probably to all of them. If a defender is playing all the way up and trying to steal the ball and playing as hard on you as they can on defense, there's maybe a little bit more leeway given to somebody if you go score because that guy's going as hard as he possibly can. Now, you probably don't have to score. You probably make a move, try to escape that pressure, pass the ball, keep moving the ball around, and just
pull the old 4 corners out or whatever you got to do and just whip it around.
But yeah, and then especially especially, and there are a lot of instances you can find on YouTube very easily because I saw all these things. Instances, even in the NBA, that guys who played basketball their entire lives and know this are shooting the ball up 25 points with 15 seconds left or something like that, and they get the ball or they steal the ball in that case. Go ahead.
What's his name? Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving just a couple years ago when he was in Boston, and what's his name? The kid from Kentucky who Jamal Murray took that three when they were up by 30 with a couple seconds left in the game, and he took the ball and chucked it into the stands. He was so mad.
Yeah,
I agree with Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in that case, I remember talking about that on this podcast.
Yeah,
and in that case, Jamal Murray had 48 points. I think he wanted to get 50.
And he wanted to get 50.
But still, they were up by a ton. It was
guess what? You got 48 points. That's that's the one of those things like where everybody runs away from a ball so a guy can get one more rebound to get a triple double. You didn't earn that rebound. Go get earn your stats.
Do you remember years ago, Ricky Davis was playing for Cleveland, I believe, and he needed a rebound. And there was hardly any time left in the game. He needed a rebound. They got somebody got a defensive rebound, gave the ball to him to go up the floor and dribble the clock out or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure they were winning. And he turns around and shoots hits the bottom of the rim like he shot a shot at the other team's basket so that he could get a rebound.
I do remember that.
So that's
is that considered a shot though? That can't be considered a shot. You're shooting at the wrong basket.
If it goes in, you have to give him the points, or you have to get. Well,
no, you give it to the closest person.
Player. But it's a shot either way.
I mean,
it's a shot.
It's just because it hits the rim, it's a shot. If somebody throws a pass and it hits the rim, that becomes a shot. Like when somebody's chucking a ball and it just hits the rim and bounces off, and somebody grabs it.
No, I think there's some.
I wouldn't have gave it to him. If I'm the official scorer, I would not have given him that rebound.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess he probably has to, but yeah, that was disappointing for everybody, I think. Anyway, dribble the clock out. No need to try to score again. Don't shoot the ball at the last second. Guys have done that so many times in games I've played. It shouldn't bother me. It probably bothers me less now than it did when I was younger, but I got really mad a few times at guys that did that when we were losing. Because you just
are they like the guys who can just barely dunk, but they're up by 15 with like 20 seconds left in the game, and they get the ball and everybody's being ready to go shake hands, and they take off running to go up and try to dunk at Western Sports Mall in an old man league or something. Yeah, that's annoying. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, next one. In football, sort of a similar situation, actually a very similar situation. A couple of things on this. When the team that has the ball is up, the play clock has less time on it than 3 or 4 snaps would take. You're kneeling the ball. Yep. You're taking knees and you're letting the play clock run out, and then.
Well, that's also for safety. That's such a violent game that's more. I don't know that that's as much an unwritten rule as it is let's protect ourselves.
So a couple of things is, number one, an unwritten rule is you don't blow somebody up on that. The line.
Oh, okay.
You snap the ball and you just kind of come up. Okay, good.
That happened buddy. A couple of years ago too, where somebody jumped through the line to try to break up to try to make Tom Brady or somebody fumble, and they all went absolutely bonkers.
And I'm glad you said that, because I think there's a little bit of a difference. I think there's a difference between hitting somebody and trying to dive at that ball and just trying to get a hand on the ball to try to make them fumble or whatever. I think there's a difference there. You're going to come in contact with somebody, but you don't, like, if you and I are going against each other, I'm on the
you're not blowing him on his butt.
You're not chucking through somebody because he doesn't have his guard up. There's a gentleman's understanding or whatever that you just kind of come up and everybody's under the same impression. So you don't blow somebody up, and you obviously don't throw the ball deep if you're doing that. You don't fake the knee if you're winning. people have done that like at the end of a half, but I think that's different. End of the first half. You can fake the knee and try to throw long and catch somebody off guard. But at the end of a game, when you're winning, the game's in hand, you don't throw it. You don't fake that and try to run up the score or whatever. And you don't blow somebody up. Number 3. And I don't even know that I've ever heard anybody say this. I'm not sure what fighters feel about this. In MMA, if you knock somebody out, you can, because the fight isn't over until the referee stops it. You can jump on the guy and keep hitting him until the referee stops you. If there's a clear knockout, you knock the guy out. He stiffens up, he falls, he doesn't break his fall. You knock the guy out. If you jump on the guy and try to get a couple more hits in before the referee can get to you, I feel like that should be at least an unwritten rule.
You see it all the time, though.
You do
it a lot, and I think that I think fighters are taught it ain't over until the ref calls it. So you finish the job. If there's even a chance, finish the job. But I'm with you on that, dude, because that's almost scary. Then you kill somebody. We've
seen so many videos or so many fights live where a guy's head's just he's dribbling the guy's head off the mat, and it's gruesome. It's nasty. You can really damage somebody permanently, long term. And on the other side, we've also seen guys knock somebody out or even just hurt them badly, or a guy gets hurt and he turtles up or whatever, and the guy goes to hit him again and he stops himself and looks at the official like, you gonna
call this?
Yeah. And that's so much more respectful, I think, and respectable for that fighter. When I see guys do that, I feel like that should be an unwritten rule, especially when there's a clear, either somebody's arm snaps in half and it's just dangling or whatever. And
his leg breaks in half
or is completely out.
The shin kick where your leg breaks in half and then they try to come back on their leg. Don't touch that guy when he falls. Let him go.
Yes.
Let him go.
He has a compound fracture in that tibia, man. Let him. So gross. Let him go.
Don't jump on top.
He can't defend himself anymore.
So gross.
I want to see a guy do that, and he's just got like basically 2 knees now, and then and then somebody jumps on top of him and he puts a guy in like a triangle or something with the broken. That's pretty gross.
So gross. That's so gross.
I actually, even though there are a lot of instances of these things, I struggled to get a 4th one that I really wanted to put on my Mount Rushmore.
One that you really, really like.
Yeah. And I put one on here, and then I was thinking about it on the way over here, and I thought, I think in just about every sport, there are actually rules. You can get penalized for this. But I think it's almost both. I think it's almost both a written and an unwritten rule. And it's very simple, and it's very broad. Don't taunt. Just don't taunt your opponent. When you get the best of somebody, we've talked about this a million times on this. When you get the best of somebody, you hit a home run, you dunk on somebody, don't stare them down.
So yes,
don't walk.
The taunting is the rule part of it. You don't like all the stuff leading up to the taunt either, like not leading up to, but the things that could possibly go with it without an official taunt, right? Like stepping over somebody when you hit a 3 and they're on the ground. Like that's not necessarily taunting. You could just say, I'm trying to get down the floor. But most of the time you hit a ball and you flip a bat, like that could be taunting, but technically, okay. All right.
Yeah, Jose Bautista is taunting. Some other guys are hitting it and then flipping the Joey Votto thing from a couple weeks ago when he walked and the pitcher for the Cubs got mad because Votto walked and he flipped the bat hard over toward the dugout,
which he does every time he walks.
He wasn't showing. He wasn't trying to show him up. He was throwing the bat.
That was so ridiculous.
So the bat boy doesn't have to come all the way over. By the way, speaking of that,
that should be one. I hate that. I hate Major League Baseball players that walk and stand in the batter's box and take all their
And leave it
gear
right
off
there.
and just sit it there as the kid's walking up.
That's exactly what I was just
hate
gonna
that.
say.
I hate that.
So do I.
Take the stuff over to the kid, man. Throw it over there. Why does that kid got to work so much?
Make it a little bit easier on the guy. There's no reason, especially if you're in the first base dugout and you're a right-handed hitter and the kid has to go as far as possible to go get your stuff. There's
So
no
ridiculous.
reason to leave all of your stuff in the batter's box. And
I've seen like strike out at the end of the inning, right? Strike out at the end of the inning. And I've seen people take their gloves off, their helmet off, everything, sit it there, and then walk in the dugout and get their glove and hat.
That should never be happening because somebody should be bringing that to them unless you're a catcher. But
I'm just saying, strike three.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Come on.
I know. It does seem crazy. I'm glad you said that. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's annoying.
So yeah, that's it. Don't taunt is my last one. Very broad, like I said, but those are my 4. And I have some that I wanted to bring up to you. But before I do that I don't like or don't understand, before I do that, I'd like to hear what you think.
So I'll just start off because I'm with you on the basketball running the score up or jumping. When their time's up. Don't be shooting for no reason. I'll never forget a game Skip Prosser was coaching and James Posey. We were up by 30 at the end of a A10 game, probably playing Rhode Island or something. And we were dribbling the ball out and Posey had the ball and he's just in front of half court waiting for the time to go off. There's probably 20 seconds left. And at the last second, he chucked up a 3 from like half court and made it. And Skip Prosser went ballistic. I almost felt bad for James Posey in that moment, but he learned something, right? Learned something, right? There's no reason for it. Yeah, it's fun. It doesn't mean anything, but at the same time, there was no reason for it. And it's classy. Be classy.
Yeah. And I'm guessing whoever you were playing, say Rhode Island, stopped playing defense.
Nobody was on anybody. Yeah. He was just standing basically like half court in the sideline, just in the corner, just kind of dribbling for 10, 15 seconds, just waiting for the clock to get done.
Yeah.
And then chucked it up with 1 second left. Whew.
It wasn't a shot clock thing.
No. This was just the end of the game. Yeah. The shot clock was off. Yeah. So I'm with you on that. One that I like, that's happened a few times and some people have gotten pretty pissed off about the bunting to break up a no-hitter. I know you probably don't have an issue with.
This is one of the ones on my list that I wanted to talk to you about.
So here's my thing with it, right? If it's 3, 4, or 5 to nothing, there's no reason for it. If it's 1 or 2, I've got no problem bunting to break up a no-hitter if it's a 1 or 2 run game, because you're not just doing it to break up a no-hitter. You're still in this game. Like, you are in the game. You are a bunt and a bomb away from tying or winning the game. If it's 1 to nothing or 2 to nothing, I'm okay with the bunt in that case. But when it's 6, 7, 8, whatever to nothing, and you bunt to break up a no-hitter, I'd be pissed. That's ridiculous. There's no reason for that. There's zero reason for that. I like that unwritten rule when used the proper way.
First of all, I'm just scatting. What would be your line for where you stop that? So, 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning,
bottom of the 9th, 2 outs.
So you can bunt.
Maybe not to a bottom of the 9th with no outs or 1 out. I would say I'm still okay with you bunting. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th.
Even
1
in
run game,
7-0 game in the 8th inning, you're okay with bunting.
No, in the 8th inning, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't care if you go bunt in the 8th inning. There's a whole nother inning left. You are not almost there yet in the 8th inning. We've seen plenty of it happen. You ain't almost there.
Last night or 2 nights ago.
Especially if it's a 1 or 2 run game, right? If it's 7-0 in the 8th inning, I think I would still be a little upset if you're bunting in the 8th inning. Yeah, I think I would. It's that one. I think you're still in that. Maybe if it's a 1 or 2 run game, I'm totally fine with it. But if it's 4 or 5 runs, I think after the 7th inning, don't punt. 8 and 9, get up there and hit. If you're up by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th inning, it's time to hit. You got to come out and hit the ball.
So 8th inning is your line.
That I feel like it. I might have to think that out a little while and really, really push some stuff in my head. But yeah, I think that's where I would be. But if it's 1 or 2 runs, I don't care. Like, there ain't nothing. We're in this game still. This game is not over. This is not a done game. We are 100% it. 3, 4, 5 runs, get up there and hit.
So it's changing now. Hold on.
Wait a minute. No, it's not. It's not changing.
Well, three or 4 runs, I think, is different than 6, 7, 8,
It
9
is.
runs.
It's also different from 1 or 2 runs. 1 or 2 runs,
Yeah.
I'm okay with you bunting in the 9th inning.
For me, 3 or 4 runs is closer to 1 or 2 than it is to
5 or 6.
7. Yeah, 5 or 6.
Either way, we could talk about this forever, and that's semantics. I still, there's a time and a place, right? And it's one of those, to me, you're losing by 6. Let's just say 6. You're down by 6, 5 even. You're down by 5. Don't punt to break up a no-hitter in the 9th inning. Just don't do it. Let's just leave it at the 9th inning. Let's just say that as the unwritten rule.
I think we're a lot closer on this than I thought we were going to be when that started.
You think I would say it'd be totally fine to do it anytime you want?
No, I think I would be more inclined to say you're fine to do it whenever you want, and you would be more.
Nah, man, it's a no-hitter. You got to get up there and prove it. You got to get up there and hit now. Get up there and do it. You ain't, 1 or 2 runs, I'm okay with it because you're still in the game. I think after that too, I think if you're down by 3 in the 9th inning and you bunt, I'd be pissed.
By 3 though, I mean that's a 3-run homer. I mean,
absolutely.
You got to get on base for that 3-run homer to happen.
I'd be so mad.
If they're leaving the entire left side of the field open and I can lay one down.
Well, now hold on a second here, because a hard bunt into a shift, to me that's different than laying a bunt down and trying to beat it out. If you can bunt and you can throw one into that shift, that if they don't have anyone on that side, like if you're a lefty and there's no one on the third base side, like you've got the third baseman up the middle, you've got, the shortstop and second baseman playing on the where second base would be, and you got the first baseman over here. Yeah, I got no problem with that anytime. That's just easy. Like, you're giving it to me. I don't know that you would see that big of a shift though.
Yeah, maybe. In a no-hitter, you mean, like in the 9th inning?
I don't know that shift would get as big as it is in that case. I could be wrong. I like to talk to a major league manager about that and see what they would do. Bottom of the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, you're in Boston and Big Poppy's up. Are you putting that monster shift on?
Yeah, because there's no chance at all he ever attempts a bunt.
Okay, well then let's say this. Let's say it's Griffey back in the day. Griffey used to do that all the time. Griffey used to throw that little bunt down the third base line when they overshifted him. I've seen him do it at least 4 times as a Red. At least 4 times.
Gosh,
at the end of his career as the Red, I saw him do it at least 4 times.
I remember always thinking, why in the world does he never try that? But maybe you're right.
I've seen him do it at least 4 times. And I've seen it happen this year. There's who was it? It happened in the game we were at. It was it Kyle Farmer or somebody like that? I don't know who. Somebody threw one down that line. Maybe it was Joey Votto. I don't remember. Somebody threw Ernest Moustakis. That's who it was.
Oh.
Moose threw one down the line. And apparently that's like the 3rd time he's done it this year. Straighten up, man. I'd be doing it all the time.
I always think, why are guys not trying that more often?
I don't know.
Or change your swing a little bit. Shorten up your swing like a ton and just make some contact.
Yeah.
To poke the ball to that side of the field.
So that's number 2 for me.
Okay.
Number 3 is one of my favorites. And I do this to this day. And I yell at my kids when they do this. Don't step on the foul line. When you run out to your position, do not step on that white chalk. Do not step on the foul line.
Okay.
Jump over it, step over it, do it. I do a little skip over it. I will never. That gets on my last nerves. Don't step on the foul line.
Can you explain why?
I have no idea, because that's what Sparky Anderson used to do. Superstition. You just don't touch it.
I don't step on the line either if I'm on a field, but I don't know why. I guess I just always heard that growing up too. But it's not for me. That one, it's so silly that it doesn't.
Is that more of a superstition thing than an unwritten rule? Because my kids get in trouble for it. So to me, it's a rule. It's a rule on my team.
I don't think I would ever get anybody in trouble for it. But I at that level, when you have to paint chalk lines on a field, I think that makes a difference too, because you don't want to mess up the chalk line.
Sure, and I'm sure that's a big part of it. Yeah, but that the chalk line in that, what goes with that is before a game. Like, I don't like taking infield on the field before a game. Like, off to the side in foul territory, I'll hit some ground balls to the kids. We're allowed to take infield if we want. I don't feel like you should, if that is a freshly manicured field, somebody just came out and drug it and put the chalk down, did everything to it. I don't want you out on that field to warm up. I don't want you tossing on the field. I don't like in softball. I don't toss and warm up because my arm is garbage right now. But that is one thing that was really hard for me to get over, because in baseball, you always go to the outfield to go toss and warm up and everything. And in softball, you're in the dugout. You just walk out there, toss as old men, you just throw on the field. I hate that. Don't touch that field. There's no reason to get a bunch of footprints all over the place, especially as an infielder. I don't need all your little cleat marks all over this field so I can eat a ball later this inning because it hits your. Don't touch the field. Warm up in the outfield. You got to toss, go toss in the outfield.
Wow. Huh. Okay. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. So, like my kids do, when we warm up, we get there an hour before the game. And if there is no game before us, we are in the outfield and we do not touch that field.
Okay. All right.
Now, if the other team runs out there and takes infield, well, now I'm going out there. I go out there then. But if it's fresh and the other team's on the side, I do not take my kids out there. I'll put them on the side too.
So if you go out first and you stay in the outfield and they come out for infield second and they are in the infield, are you bothered by that?
I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered by it, because then I feel like, okay, I'm going to go take infield. But I will never be the first one to do it. Ever. That'll never happen.
Okay.
Now, if a guy goes, hey, you want to take infield real quick? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. We'll just do some stuff out here. We're still warming up out here. And he goes, okay, well, I'm going to go jump and take it then. I'll be like, all right, we'll just take it when you're done. That's the conversation. That's it. I'm not mad at him because he doesn't know. But you'll never catch me doing it. That'll never happen.
Okay. All right. By the way, since you mentioned this, we're at, I think, episode 201 now, I want to say.
Oh, yeah. Nice. 201 episodes, man. Congratulations. Dude.
Congratulations to you. Maybe this podcast is now called Battery Mates or something like that, because you and I were a battery in a winning game.
I like that. We won a game. I was the winning pitcher. You were the winning catcher on Sunday.
My retirement game, my last softball game in my life was just Sunday.
And you were 2 for 3 or 1 for 3?
I was
2 for 3. Did you have 2 hits?
I was 2 for 3, and I wanted to chop my own head off because I lined a soft liner basically back to the pitcher.
You hit that ball pretty hard.
Unwritten rule.
That's a good one. Unwritten rule. Don't hit a ball. Softball. Don't hit it back up the middle.
So all 3 balls I hit were up the middle, but one was just low enough to hit.
I had a conversation with the pitcher after your first one that you popped up. I think you popped the first one up, didn't you?
I sort of popped it up.
Yeah. I walked out and I was like, hey man, he hasn't played in like 5 years. So when you hit it up the middle and you're apologizing and all, so somebody hit a ball up the middle and I went the wrong way off the. So I love fielding the middle. I want to field. I want you to hit it at me because I trust my glove more than I trust 7 of the other 10 people in the field glove, right? I trust my glove better. Hit it at me. And it was a lefty and I moved the wrong way off the mound trying to play my pitch to where he was hitting, and he snuck it right up the middle, but I was playing towards first base side. And he's like, man, I'm really sorry for coming to the middle pitch. And my favorite thing to say, man, you don't hit it hard enough to get past me. You don't have to worry about it. I 100% will tell somebody if they hit a line drive at me and I catch it, I always go, don't worry, brother, I got a glove too. Or I'll say, you don't hit it hard enough to have to apologize. You're okay.
That's what I almost said to the pitcher when I hit him was like, I'm so glad I'm not a big, strong guy. I have no power at all. So that could have been, if anybody else on this team would have hit that same ball, you would have been hurt.
I walked in, I pitched. So after that happened, I was walking out to the outfield. I was walking out to the field, and one of the old guys on our team, because we got it's a family team, right? So there's some older people who have been there for 40 years, have been playing on this team. And his son was playing shortstop. And I was walking out, and I was like, well, Adam got one off the pitcher. I said, boy, I hope they start coming up the middle now. And I was like, I hope they start coming. I might have dropped an F-bomb or something in there. Like, let's go. Like, because I'm really do get excited. I love that. Hit it at me, man. I've got the best glove on this. To me, I have the best glove on the team. I don't, but in my head, I'm always thinking that. And 100% the same guy who just hit it up the middle of me an inning before that or whatever is walking by. I see him walking by, and I'm like, well, I just sounded like a total asshole by saying that. Like, oh, I dare these guys to hit it at me. I think I said something like, I think I looked at him, I was like, well, I hope that makes them start hitting at me, because there ain't nobody on this team that can hurt me. Bring it on. And I said something like that, and then he walked by, and I was like, well, I mean, I wasn't lying. It's not like that team was any good.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to us.
They looked really serious when I got there. I was like, oh man, these guys might crush us.
Nah,
but
we were playing for the bottom in that game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because
we're actually in the middle right now. We're kind of in the middle of that league, but they are at the bottom of it.
Because they had an inning where they had it seemed like 3 or 4 straight hits.
The first inning.
Maybe it was the first inning.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is one of these really good teams that everybody just hits base hits, or everybody can place the ball. And after that, it wasn't the case.
It's not the case. Not the case.
But in softball, so I kind of try to go up the middle. Like, I always want to hit opposite field or middle in softball, and try to wait on it, which is very hard. But I see the space between the second baseman and the shortstop and
over top. It's the biggest hole.
Right.
It's the biggest hole in the field.
And it just there's a spotlight on it to me, and that's where I want to hit it. But I want to loop it, because I feel like when I swing, like I said, zero power. So if I just kind of hit the ball, maybe even a little hard for me, and I can it'll just drop in there. I'm not hitting the ball to the wall. I'm not hitting the ball over anybody's head. I'm trying to just drop it in there. And that's what my thinking was. But I have a couple of times have hit the ball back up the middle when I played.
Dude, you've got more power than you think. Try to pull one. Just get up there and rip it down the third base line and see what happens. That's what
I did hit, but the balls, all 3 of the balls I hit were a little harder than I expected to.
Yeah.
But I'm still when I hit the guy,
not quite as hard as Sully hits the ball.
Yeah, no, I can't hit it
3/4 of the way up in the trees.
No, yeah, I was like, well, thank God that I have these arms, because man, I don't, God, I felt so bad. And then I'm like, and I'm stereotyping these guys in my head as I'm seeing them pull into the lot and walk over there, and they're smoking cigarettes, and they're getting their, you can smell the weed in their car and that kind of stuff. And it's like, and they just have that old kind of, I was a thuggy guy in the 90s look kind of thing.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, these guys, huh? So I'm like, so these are the kind of guys that are going to cause a problem with stuff like that. They were super nice. They were so nice.
I was a little worried about the pitcher, because he thinks a lot of himself.
Really?
Yeah, he does. I was a little worried he was going to do something, but you apologized, and the rest of it. And then I told him that you haven't played in 5 years.
I even stopped running up the first base line. When I hit him, I hesitated. I was like, oh God. And then it hit off of him, because I kind of thought he was going to catch it.
He should have. He should have caught it. You should have caught it. Look, here's the deal. If you hit it and it hits my glove and then my chest, There's no reason to apologize. That hit my glove. I should be apologizing to my team, not you apologizing to me. I apologize to my team. That's where I look at people. That's when I like to go, oh man, you don't hit hard enough to hurt me. I'm fine. You don't hit it hard enough. I want to tell you that.
That's taunting.
It is taunting, but you know what?
I wanted to say that about myself to try to make him
back,
not want to kill me.
Hit it at me again. That's what I want to say to him. I want to go, come back up, do it one more time. We'll see what happens next time. Trust me, I'll be ready this time. You ain't getting it by me. Come on.
That's when those kind of guys are going to be like, okay,
that's the thing though. If I want to get in their head, most of the time, if you get into somebody's head, especially a terrible team like that, and they're like, oh, we're going to hit the middle now. Usually they just pop a bunch of balls up because they don't know how to properly hit the middle to try to hurt somebody.
But that's when jawing goes back and forth, and people in those situations don't always.
Not Sundays at West Side, man. Everybody, we all know everybody. Everybody's been there forever. It's all fun and games. Now, if it happens 3, 4, 5 times, start getting into that 1, 2, 3 that we used to count. We were in the field. First one go up the middle, even if it wasn't anywhere near the pitcher, just like he reaches up and he can't catch it either way. It's like 1. We'd look out and be like, that's 1. And we just scream out to everybody, be no outs. And we're just yelling, that's 1. And the next one comes, a little dribbler by him or so, or somebody will hit a hard ball to the left or right low. That's 2. And then all of a sudden that last one, everybody at the same time will just yell, middle's open. And then all hell, bro. I watched the guy break somebody's arm, hit a ball and break his arm and sprint to first base. And they almost killed him. We sat there because he was trying to hurt the guy. The guy hitting was on our team. And he was doing it all day, just smoking the middle. He does it all the time. And he broke this guy's arm. And he started jawing back and forth with him while he was on first base as this guy's like on the ground with a broken arm. And they all went after him. And we sat in our dugout and watched it. Just like, go get him. Good luck. We've told him a million times. It's the most annoying thing in the entire world.
Is that the number 1 unwritten rule of softball?
Oh yeah. Don't hit the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, there are leagues where it is a rule now. They have lines next to the pitcher. And if you hit inside those lines, you get 1 warning and then the next one's an out.
That's good. And the other thing
the problem is they're always in crappy leagues where people don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you get hit up the middle, it's because they don't know what they're doing.
But I mean, like I said,
but it's also a
if you
big
can
open area.
Yeah, if you can knock it, just like tap it over
or just hit it a little to the right or a little to the left. It's wide open up the middle.
And that's the thing. That's where I'm one of those people that doesn't exactly know what they're doing, because I'm really trying to go kind of middle, but kind of opposite field. Like if I can send it through between first and second, the first baseman and second baseman, even better.
Mm-hmm. But I used to be able to do that. I used to be able to just stand up there and wait and just hit a nice little dink line drive over the second baseman's head. And in the last 3 years, I can't do it anymore. I tried yesterday.
You do it on Sunday?
No, I tried on Sunday, and I do it at least once a game where I try to still go to right field. And I do the same thing every time. I sky a pop-up up, but usually they're worse players over there, so I can still get on. And God love you, Danny Finke. You really went after that second one, bud, but he overran it and it hit him in the wrist.
He was a Finke. I was like,
that's Doug's little brother.
Yeah. I was like, because I saw his name on the back of his jersey, Finke, and then I saw his face. I'm like, that's
definitely a Finke.
Yeah,
yep,
for sure. And then his hird at bat or something, he comes out and he looks at me. He's like, "You Witt's cousin?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So he's the head varsity tennis coach now at Elder.
Is that right?
That's right. Head varsity tennis coach at Elder.
How about that?
Yep. In fact, he was upset because he was a little worried that when the ball hit his hand, that he wouldn't be able to swing a tennis racket.
Ooh.
So you go diving balls in when I'm hitting them at you. Don't be doing that. No, but that's the thing that I do is I pop them up. Then I'll try to pull a ball, and I can still hit a ball hard. I've had a couple home runs over the last couple of years trying to pull a ball. I one-hopped the fence the other day. It's just, it's turn and pull it, man. Next time you come out and play with us, just try to rip a ball down the line. Rip it down the line and see what happens. You might hit one out.
Nah, never going to happen.
I disagree.
Never going to happen because that was my retirement game. That was my farewell. It was my farewell game.
I've asked you to play quite a few times and got a bunch of no's. But this time when I was with you, Adam came to watch the boys, meet my
Guilty
son
into it.
and my nephew play in a big tournament, big baseball tournament, and he was standing next to me, so it makes it a little harder to say no.
Yeah. And I legitimately didn't actually. I mean, I had some stuff I wanted to do that afternoon, but I truly didn't have anything I had to do. So I'm like, I really don't have a good excuse.
I was already done.
It
I
is-
I was done. I just was assuming you were. Thought you were no, and then you were like, "You really do need somebody," and all of a sudden I was like, "Absolutely, we do."
It turned out I played a little bit better than I expected to, and it turned out to be really fun because those guys are fun, and Little's dad is fun, and all that.
He's a hoot.
He's funny.
He's a hoot. So anyways, that's only 3.
I'm
believe.
sorry. I
No,
totally got us off
no,
on that.
not at all. Not at all. That is only 3. And I'm with you. I had 3 that I felt really good about. And then after those 3, it was like, a lot of these are, I don't even know if I would consider them unwritten rules. Don't touch certain trophies and stuff that I was reading. And there's just a bunch of dumb stuff like arguing, like it's an unwritten rule to argue with the umpire. No, that's a written rule. Like you're not allowed arguing with the umpire.
Yeah.
So if I got to go with the last one, I'm going to go with that I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel. Let's just say it's one of my favorite unwritten rules. And I feel like I go back and forth on this show about it all the time.
Okay.
If you get hit, then the pitcher is going to turn around and hit your next guy. Or if you hit the pitcher, then the pitchers are going to turn around and hit somebody. Or if your best player gets hit, the next inning, the next best player on your team gets hit. There's a little thing about it where I'm like, all right, if you go head hunting at my guy, when your guy comes up, I'm going to plug him in the butt. I'm going to plug him.
Head hunting is different. I think.
But I'm not going to throw it at your guy's head, but I will put it in the soft of your back or in your butt, and it's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Or on your shoulder or whatever. Or maybe not your shoulder, but your bicep. There's a little something about that I'm kind of into, but the throwing at head stuff gets on my last nerves.
It's way too dangerous. It's too dangerous. There's no scenario you could ever possibly have to make it okay, even if it's retaliation, because
never throw it to my head.
Never.
No,
never.
It's dangerous. Throwing up and in is one thing, but don't throw it to my head.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. That is a good one. Don't throw at anybody's head.
So there you go.
Yeah. A couple so you already addressed the don't bunt during a no-hitter. So we talked about that one. Another one, don't rub the spot that you just got hit. If you get hit by a pitch.
Oh, yeah, don't rub it. Don't rub it.
Rub it.
Spray some Windex on it.
I feel like people have joked about that, but that's a legit, like there was the list that I saw on YouTube and they said that. And I actually don't ever remember, unless somebody gets hit and it's a serious thing. And then they're like holding it, writhing around on the ground or something like that.
That is a, if you show that you're hurt, then you're less of a man than them or something.
It shows weakness.
Shows weakness.
That to me, if that's the case, the dumbest thing ever. I think it's so stupid.
I always yell.
Everybody goes by it.
I still yell, "Don't rub it!" When one of the kids get hit. But I don't know why. Just because that's what you say. That, or I always say, somebody spray some Windex on it for him. Or I say so. I try to be funny about it to make somebody laugh. But the don't rub it thing makes no sense to me.
Thank you. Don't swing at the first pitch after a pitcher gives up back-to-back home runs. You ever heard of that one? Don't swing at the first pitch.
I've never heard that before.
This was on a list, and I'm like,
if he gives up back-to-back home runs,
or he's really struggling, don't swing at the first pitch. So like it's almost like you're showing him, or you're like you don't have respect for what he can bring. Like you're just going up there swinging because he's struggling so bad. That's absurd to me.
I mean, if a guy walks somebody on 4 pitches,
you shouldn't swing.
I'm not swinging at the first pitch. Guy can't find a strike zone. I don't understand. Is this because the guy's having a bad day and and you want to make him feel better, or is this because he's having a bad day and you're trying to take advantage? I don't understand that rule. I've never heard that before.
I saw it. I was like, I hope nobody abides by that. I hope that's not a real thing, because
I've never heard it. The Reds. I don't know. I've never heard that rule in my entire life.
okay.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe nobody thinks about that, but it was on this list. It was like an 18-minute video of all the top 20
baseball. See,
unwritten.
they just ran out of stuff to.
Maybe.
I did it again. No. There it is.
I always think it's something on what happened to my head?
No, it's and the crazy thing is on everybody's gonna hear us fine.
Yeah.
It's just the speaker goes out in our headphones for a second. We're like, what? Hey, oh, so we apologize.
Okay.
Give me another one.
That was it.
Oh, that was the only two?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I had three, but yours was one of your,
okay.
One of them was yours.
Okay. There's some things that people like this, the conference trophy or this crown something trophy, like you got a trophy. Why are you not touching a trophy? I don't understand the not touching of the trophy thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't read up about it. I just saw it in a couple different places.
I kind of understand it, but it's also more superstition probably.
How does the trophy get from place to place if you can't touch it?
Well, I think it's if you're a player, you shouldn't touch a trophy that you haven't earned. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
no.
Like the Stanley Cup, you should never touch it if you haven't won it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's how it was all about. If you haven't won it yet, like
that's what I thought that meant. I could be wrong, but that's how I took it.
Huh. I mean, the NBA takes videos and stuff like that of the guys holding the trophy, and it's like part of the finals promos. Yeah,
that's true. So yeah, I don't know that it's a thing in the NBA. I think that's more like a hockey thing, and
I got you.
Something like that.
Okay.
And speaking of that, I mean, that's a perfect transition into what I wanted to get into next. Chris, Stanley Cup Finals, Colorado Avalanche versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Who do you have?
Didn't the Avalanche already win?
Oh, I thought game one was tonight.
I have no idea.
Oh, I think game one's right now. I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've got the Avalanche just because that's the only team that I actually heard come out of your mouth. Who are they playing?
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, sure. I'll take the Avalanche. Who you take?
Yeah, I mean, Avalanche certainly.
Although Lightning did just put my house out of commission for 24 hours and terrible,
so pretty powerful.
Yeah, so I'm still going with an Avalanche.
I'm going with the Avalanche because Nedvedov, and between he and Romshinsky, the two of them, I just don't think Tampa Bay has a
Borbonski is. You don't think he can handle it?
I mean, he's good, but I don't think he matches up well with those two other guys. And I just don't think. And also,
if Selinsky can stay on the ice without getting himself into trouble and can get in front of the goalie and make the blocks and do the things that he needs to do, then I think the Selinsky thing is the key. I think he's the key to this entire thing.
I think so too, and I think Colorado's goalie, his true save percentage is among the best that
he's got. There's no doubt Colorado's goalie's got to step up. If he plays the way he can play, then I think they can win. But then again, on the other side, the Lightning, their defense is just as good if you look at the numbers. And it's going to come down to the goalie. Whichever goalie stands on his head is going to be the one that wins this.
Yeah. Look, if you're talking advanced metrics, especially, I mean, advantage Colorado. If you're talking kind of more the traditional stats, it looks on paper like Tampa Bay is the better team. But, you're talking about in Tampa Bay, you have Hulk Hogan. All right. Mm-hmm. He lives in Tampa Bay. But at the same time, when I hear Florida, I think no Florida team should ever be good at hockey.
I agree with that. And then Yeah, in Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
You should be playing hockey.
There's snow there all the time.
Yeah, ice, snow, and
ice and snow are cousins.
And it's kind of like the thing, like when the Heat are in a playoff or in the playoffs or the Miami Dolphins, and you got a team going there. There's nightlife and all that stuff like that. Now Tampa Bay is a little different. There's not the nightlife ain't quite there. However, Colorado, the Chiba is free and clear up there. You can smoke it if you got it. I can see a little bit of party time going down. Maybe somebody sleeps in, misses the game.
Little nightlife in both situations now. Yeah, with the legalization. It's going to come down to, and it's going to come down to coaching too.
Can we be honest?
Really?
Can we just be honest? Yeah. The key stat that we need to look at is icing.
Yeah.
The team with the least amount of icing penalties is going to win this thing.
Sure. And you have, the three guys on Tampa Bay that are famously constantly in the penalty box.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're shorthanded all the time.
Yep.
And I feel
power play,
sort of the
power play goals, man. That's what it's all about. Power play goals.
They've got like 3 Draymond Greens. They're always getting themselves thrown into the penalty box for doing things they're not supposed to be doing, extracurricular stuff. And then you have what's his name that took his skate off and tried to stab the guy.
That was ruthless. That was ruthless. I couldn't even believe I saw what I saw.
And he's playing in the series. How's he not in jail?
They have video of him on the sideline, skate off, sharpening the end of his stick
with one of those little sandstone things that you
he was using his skate to sharpen his stick.
I got you. Yeah. That's right. He was like whittling it.
Yeah.
He was whittling
his stick into a spear.
Yeah.
And the edge of it into a blade.
I've never seen anything like that in hockey.
It was the craziest
all the hockey I've watched in my life.
It's the craziest moment of my life.
So Colorado in how many games?
2.
2 games. You got them in 2 games. I think I'm gonna go Colorado in. I think I'm gonna go Colorado in 5. And I could be wrong. I mean, you might be. If you're right, that's gonna be something.
Can we name this podcast Colorado in 2?
Colorado in 2. That's the title of this episode. 100%. Colorado in 2. As a matter of fact. So that I don't forget.
Write it down. Let's write it down. Oh my gosh.
In 2. Got it. All right. Let's go on to Yannis Pappas. Yannis Pappas, speaking of foreign people, he's not foreign.
I was going to say
he's Greek.
I thought he would be, but he's definitely not.
He's from New York.
And he's definitely a New York guy because he does the New York accent incredibly well.
Yes, he does. He does. And he can do, I feel like he can do dumb guys very easily, but I think he's also a very smart guy. And he does, he has his own podcast called Long Days right now. He did a podcast, I think we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, with Chris Stefano for a long time called History Hyenas. And it was he comes across very, very intelligent sometimes if you watch those things, but he does both well. I think like he shows both well.
The way he holds the microphone in this like loosey goosey little way, and he like curls his hand around sometimes. I could totally see him and Chris Stefano getting along.
Yeah.
These two, I feel like I could hang out with these two in a room and laugh for hours.
He does like Stefano kind of like jokes about being gay and does like acts gay,
my favorite thing
or whatever. Shout out Pride Month, right?
Hey, so yeah. Oh, that was another one. Oh, what? So are you starting this or am I starting this? Because that was one of my favorite jokes. He was cracking me up with when he said, if my daughter, I don't know, when you having the gender reveal? I don't know. Whenever, I don't know. I was thinking of 3 or 4. What do you think? You think that sounds like a good time? We'll let her decide. She wants to dick him. Starts talking about what he's going to give her. Like, I want to, I'm not going to let her do it by herself. She's going to transition. I'm going to transition with her. I was laughing. I want to be called them. Hey, okay, whatever you call them. Hey, me and my buddy Rick are going somewhere. Hey, we got to wait for them. Oh, we're going to have enough room in the car? Yep, we'll probably have extra seats because it's just me, you, and one other person. That was good. I was having fun with that. He did a really good job with that stuff. And if you if you are whatever LGBTQT, the rest of it plus, come on, you gotta laugh at yourself sometimes, right? Some of this stuff's pretty. Some of this, I mean, come on, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself a little bit.
Sure,
It's pretty good.
These are all jokes.
They're all jokes. None of it's for real. That was good. I was laughing hard at the when talking about getting married. And all the stuff that the bride is, how the bride is, and she's out of her mind, and how you should act. And then he started talking about how the bride's dress is 50 sizes too big or something. I would just like to go to a tailor one time and just be like, yeah, I need pants. I need it 50 sizes bigger than that. So I got my boys that hang onto the back of it. I was like, I like that. That was good. No, dude, I'm gonna tell you, this guy, he even dropped a Cincinnati in there, talking about when he was in Mexico. There were some good jokes about him being in Mexico. He said as soon as you put that all-inclusive wristband on, you feel a little dictator coming out of you. Hello, I want 17 jalapeno poppers, not one more or one less. I cannot do a German accent, by the way. Just found that out. Right.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm gonna go with a 4. I know I just turned around and look at the time too. 4 points. I'm gonna go with a 4.2. I really thought this dude was good.
Nice.
I was laughing the whole time. I never stopped laughing. I don't think there was a joke he told where I didn't at least smirk, much less laugh.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I wrote a few of the jokes down. A lot of his jokes were pretty good. I didn't laugh hard really at anything, except I think the thing I laughed the hardest at, he was talking about like a dad career day or something at his daughter's school.
The fireman,
the firefighter, and then he's like, and then you got guys that come in. Hey, I'm Don. I invented Don Coin.
He's like, yeah. Back in my day, it was like, hey, yo, this is Joe Terry, and I'm a firefighter, and I put the water on the fire. That's what I do. I put the water on the fire. Because nowadays, I can just see it. When I go to career day for my daughter, it's gonna be, hey, I'm Don. I created Don Coin. I really like you guys to invest in it.
Yeah. Don Coin made me laugh. He did a lot. I mean, he does a lot of political and social stuff. He does all that stuff, but
there wasn't that much of it. That wasn't too bad in this.
Yeah. But
I take that back. I guess the whole beginning was about trans and giving your daughter what she wants.
And he talks about that stuff all the time. But he talked about like right-wing airline versus left-wing airline. There was some funny stuff in there. But that's what was I had a thought that I just lost. Anyway, he was good, and I've seen enough Yannis Pappas that I know he's funny. I felt a 3.3 on this. It was good.
3.3. Wow, not very high at all.
I mean, it was.
Do I need to go over this and re-rate this again?
No.
I thought he was funny. I thought he was really good. I like the dude a lot.
Yeah, I like him.
But isn't like a 3 just average for you?
It's
3's average.
It's just above average.
2.5 is average for me. 3's average for you. So you're just a hair above average.
2.5 is average for me. 3 is average for you.
Oh,
because you go 1 to 5. I go 0 to 5.
Okay. So that's a little better for you then. All right. No, I like it. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I like Yannis Pappas a lot. It was called, title was Mom Love. It's
I've
on
never
YouTube.
seen this dude.
Check it out.
I'd never seen it before. It was really good though. Definitely check it out.
Yep. All right. That is, I think, everything that we wanted to talk about, especially hockey. And so now we have to choose a comedy special and a Mount Rushmore for next week. If you've hung in there long enough here, we thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a couple of ideas for Mount Rushmores for next week.
Peaky Blinders new season just came out.
A friend of mine tweeted something about that. I can't believe it's over or something.
It's supposed to be. So this is the last season, but they are going to do a movie too. They're going to put a movie into. Have you ever seen Peaky Blinders?
Never have.
You like gangster stuff at all? I'm a
really.
huge gangster. I love like that mafia gangster kind of stuff. I love that. This is such a great.
I never saw The Godfather. Never saw.
Oh, we had this conversation. Yeah. All right. So anyway,
Eric Gagnon gave me a hard time about that. Shout out, Eric.
There you go. I like that. Eric gave you, did he? I didn't even notice. What was it on?
Yeah, no, in
Or did
person.
he just hit you up and tell you, dude, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, at our basketball league. He's like, you've never seen The Godfather?
I know.
What's wrong with
Come
you?
on, man.
Like, yeah, I know.
Does he play out? Does he play for you?
He plays. He plays. First of all, he runs the league,
Oh, he runs,
and he also plays in the league. Yes,
but on a different team.
on a different team. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was real good buddies with. Well, he should be. He's real good buddies with that flight guy.
Oh no, different guy.
Oh, sorry.
Sounds like we got our comedy special.
This is gonna be a little different. You probably already saw this. This is gonna be kind of cool. So, this is gonna be hard to do.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna do a comedy special, and it's Bill Burr presents Friends Who Kill. So Michelle Wolf is on here. I didn't see everybody. Honestly, I didn't see everybody. Oh, here we go. Michelle Wolf, Bill Burr, Jimmy Carr's on here apparently. Get out of there. There's a bunch of people on here. Dave Attell. I don't know, Jeff Ross. I mean, there's a lot of people that it shows being on here. I don't know how many of them actually go out on stage and perform. The preview has Michelle Wolf. So, and I know that Bill Burr's out there for a second. So this should be really good. I don't know how we're going to rate this because each comedian could be some comedian could be good and another one could be bad. But I almost love the little 15 minutes, right? You're like, all right, 15 minutes, boom. I feel like they're putting the best of the best out there. And I feel like this should be phenomenal.
This is perfect for this week because this weekend, I am going to Dayton, Ohio for the Bert Kreischer Fully Loaded Comedy Festival.
There's a ton of people there for that, isn't there?
There's Bert Kreischer. There's Big J. Okerson. There are a bunch of people that are on this tour, but some of them are coming to some of the cities.
So you don't know who's going to be there?
Yeah, I know Big J is going to be there because he already announced it. And Bert obviously is going to be there. I know Mark Norman is on some of them. He's not going to be at this one.
That's too bad.
Yeah, but every name I've seen. That's pretty good.
That's all I think. When I think of Mark Norman, that's all I think of.
I've only seen one or two people ever do a Mark Norman impression. Andrew Santino does one all the time. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so that's kind of the same thing. I think they're all headliners. They're all pretty big names.
Yeah.
And they might all do 15, 20 minutes or something like that.
Oh man, that's going to be good.
I'm very excited. So that's what we're going to do. The Bill Burr.
Yep. What did I say it was called? Bill Burr.
Friends Who Kill or something.
Bill Burr. Yeah, that's exactly it. Presents Friends Who Kill.
I saw this and I was like, should I just go ahead and watch this now? Because it doesn't seem like something Chris is going to want to, because it's it's different than what we.
How crazy is this? Because apparently Pete Davidson just came out with the same kind of thing. It's Pete Davidson presents The Best Friends. So he's got one of these with a bunch of different people on it too.
And they're boys because they were in that movie Staten Island. About Staten
King
Island.
of Staten Island or something like that.
Staten Island. Yep. All right, that's good. Chris, Mount Rushmore for next week. Tell me if we've already done this. I hope
Amy
not.
Schumer presents. Amy Schumer has one too.
Oh,
just a whole bunch of them. Parental advisory. This has got Ron Funches on it.
Did that one just come out?
Yeah, all three of them just came out.
Okay, so it's a whole because the Netflix is a joke. They're doing a
okay.
whole thing with that, but that's good. I like it. So everybody on the Bill Burr one. How long does it say? How long that is?
It's an hour and 10 minutes or something. Hour and 13 minutes.
So whoever's there, it might be 3 people, it might be 15 people, but it's an hour and 13 minutes, which is about the same as any other special.
Yeah.
All right, good. We're gonna do that. Tell me if we've done this before. Late night talk shows.
No, I don't think we have. I like that though. That's good.
Let's do the Mount Rushmore of late night talk shows.
All right. It looks like Adam Sandler's got a new one out too. Not special, but a new movie out.
Oh, Hustle. Oh,
yeah. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
How old is this? I've never seen this.
Oh, it came out last week.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Bobon's in it.
It's they're everybody in the NBA is in this. There's so many.
He said, yes, I'm 22.
Coaching staff, like assistant coaches from the NBA. I mean, there are so many people from the NBA in this thing.
Adam Sandler and LeBron
Jay
James.
Wright is in it for a second. I mean,
this
so
is cool. Oh my God, I got so much to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of new.
Man, there's a ton of new stuff out.
Yeah. Yep.
How did Norm Macdonald come out with something?
Yeah, he recorded it right before he died.
Really?
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that one
That's
too.
insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a Zoom show, so there's no audience, so it's really weird. I haven't seen it yet because I was gonna kind of wait to see if we did it here, but yes.
Wow, this is insane. But Norm wanted to record the comedy special that he had worked on so hard to prepare. He performed it alone in his living room.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is insane. And all right, well, there you go. We got a lot of stuff going on here, brother. All right, we're doing Bill Burr Presents. There you go. Next week, the finals could be over. Very well.
They will be over.
They will be over by the time we come on. Yeah. So we'll talk about the finals, which means that it's all baseball until football season. So,
yeah. So are you out like next week? Are we on or are we?
We leave. No, I don't leave until like the 29th. Okay. Or the 28th. Okay. Yeah. So we'll be here next week.
Okay. Right.
Next week. Yeah. Yeah. Next week's good. All next week I'll be here. I'm not leaving until Tuesday, the Tuesday after that. So
okay,
we will definitely be here to talk about the NBA finals, and may not do the first Wednesday, but the second Wednesday we're definitely doing it.
Okay. We'll see how that goes.
I'm ready to go. I mean,
you'll be at the beach or on the balcony of the hotel, just kind of chilling out, hanging with your people.
It's my favorite thing to do. I love it. I'd be like, yo,
y'all,
I got to break away, man. I got to do my thing.
Okay.
It's time to go.
Right.
Done that a few times. I think I joined the podcast that I wasn't a part of at one point.
I think you did. That's right.
Yeah.
I think I did one by myself, which was a huge mistake.
That was a tough one. Then Joey was at your house, the one that I joined in on. Yeah.
He did fill in one
You
time,
did do a podcast on your own.
That's never gonna happen on this one for sure.
I think that there was one you were gone and you were like, you tried to do it on your own. And I was like, there's zero chance. It's not happening.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I feel like you could be good at that.
I cannot just sit and talk to myself. I need reaction. I have to react off something. I can't tell a joke that nobody's here to listen to. Hey, what do you think about Colorado? I got Colorado. What do you think about those? I got Colorado too, and there's nobody to laugh at. You know what I mean? That's no fun for me.
God, that's the best prediction I've ever heard.
All right. On that note, until next week, don't forget to turn your headlights on. Ding, ding, ding.